Inside of a hospital room, San, Uehiro, and Misaka are watching a TV at the upper corner. Their friend, a member of Judgment and a level 4 Esper, Kuroko Shirai, laying in bed recovering from the injury, watches it with them. All four friends watches the Japanese Prime Minister make an announcement to the country and Academy City. And so it will be my decision to initiate Operation Neptune to lure Godzilla away from the Japanese home islands. However, if it fails, I will personally issue a state of emergency for the area that the kaiju will make landfall. And after further discussions with Academy City's chairman, he will send volunteers to attack him. The operation will begin at 10 o'clock p.m. tonight. Thank you. Makoto feels a sense of relief for the first time in hours. She lays her head back and sighs with relief. Well, that's that, I guess. Feels a bit anticlimactic, but it's satisfying. The level 5 turns to Shirai in the bed. Hey, Kuroko. How do you feel? She turns away from the TV at Misaka. Well, aside from the fact that I can't feel my left hip and my leg in the moment, I'm fine. Jeez, I swear, sissy, why do you keep hanging out with that troglodyte? Misaka knows who she is talking about when Kuroko mentions the word troglodyte. From what I observed, he gets into trouble way too easily, he carelessly throws himself into danger without even thinking, mind you, and he's a dumbass! Of course, Makoto is very aware of what Toma Kamijo was like on numerous occasions. What Kuroko is telling her is no lie. She puts on a timid, awkward smile at her pouty-faced friend. Yeah, I can tell. Suddenly, Shirai stops pouting and lets out a gentle sigh and brushes her long, tawny hair back. Although, I can see why you want to hang out with him. And I understand why he is the way he is. You do? Kuroko nods with no hesitation. So, anyway, what the hell happened 2 nights ago? I got the basics, but not much else. Do you remember that little silver-haired British nun with a white robe that was living with Kamijo? Yeah, I do. That trespasser kidnapped her. She was in a rough state when I saw her. Kamijo and I pursued him, but he was a dangerous fighter. She gently puts her hand on the heavily bandaged wound. And this is what you see. And he was a Celtic leader? Not a leader, the leader. Huh? Hey, where is Toma? He was going to Italy with McIntyre, and they should be in Ireland by now. The girls within the room become shocked. As in Northern Ireland? Yep. But the Civil War is still going on. He doesn't have a choice. Aren't you a little worried that he might die? He's used to it at this point, and it was no difference before I saw him leave last night. And you seem to be worried for him, Shirai. Shut up. Her thoughts are interrupted when she realizes what Makoto just said. Wait, you saw him last night? Her wavy hair lifts out of fright. Don't tell me. You two did something diabolical together, didn't you? Misaka blushes and becomes flabbergasted by her words. What? No, that's not what happened! Kuroko stops her sentence and puts her hands on her own head. Oh, God, you don't have to tell me. I know that you were trying to avoid me and you want to have make-out sex with him, but for the love of... Misaka desperately jumps from her seat and covers Shirai's mouth with her hands. Stop! Nothing happened last night. We just wished each other luck. Are you sure? Misaka nods her head. With joys in her eyes, she grabs onto her and pulls her in. That's all I needed to hear. She leans in for a kiss to her. Misaka chops her on the head and angrily sits back in her seat. Seriously, you're injured and you still attempt this shit? I told you I'm not into girls. San and Uehiro were watching the whole time, and their only reaction is indifference. Typical. Very typical. Nah, that's the sissy I know. Their attention turns back to the TV above. Man, hard to believe that Godzilla exists. I wonder how long, though. Who knows? Also, son, weren't you that same girl that was going like, I was right! Like, I get it, you don't have to rub it in my face! Sutton makes a smirk at Shirai. Come on, say the words. Fuck you. Nope, those aren't the words. Yeah, you're right. Go fuck yourself. I am a prophet and you are a fool. Admit it, son. I swear, if I wasn't injured, you wouldn't do anything regardless. Misaka and Uehiro says nothing as the two girls bicker at each other. At 1:30 p.m., Ueharu, Sun, and Misaka are about to leave their friend. We'll be back later, okay? Okay, see you then. The three waves at her and begins walking to the door. Oh, Misaka! The level 5 stops and looks back at her friend. I want to know something from you. What do you think of Tomikamijo? What does he mean for you? A very good question to ask, which makes Misaka smile. At this point, I don't know. But I know one thing. He's just a guy who is a good help to me. See ya. She turns and walks to the door, exiting the room with Ruriko and Kazuri. Shirai lays back on the pillow. Just a guy who was a good help? There has to be more than that. Makoto leans against the rail on one of the walking platforms above the streets, talking to Kamijo on the phone.
So, it's being taken care of right now?
Yep. I thought it would take like an ice ace in that, but I'm not complaining.
You kind of wish it was you, right?
She pauses, not knowing how to answer his question.
Oh, how are you holding up? With your loss?
Her head lifts up and she stares at the half moon. Honestly, I'm still processing all of it.
Hey, don't rush it. Take your time.
Will do. So, how are things going on your end? Makoto's right eyebrow lifts. That doesn't sound good.
Sorry. I'm trying so hard not to become unhinged right now. Fucking Makoto!
Why? What did he do?
He wants me to ride in a British tank! What kind of bullshit is this?
Isn't this coming from the same guy that rode on a giant cross, a conquer plane, and a spaceship?
That's not the point. I'm trying to save Index, not die while doing it. My run luck.
Oh, calm down. From what I heard, the British Challenger 2 is much more safer than the Japanese Type 90.
Did you make that up?
Yeah, I did.
Not funny.
But seriously, don't die. Don't die, idiot.
I don't know German, but I somehow know what that means. But, yeah. Stay safe out there.
Will do, Kamijo. See ya. The call ends, and suddenly she becomes giddy with joy. Oh my god, I actually addressed him by his last name! She smacks herself in the face twice. Okay. Back to my usual self. She lifts her back from the rail and rests her elbows on it. She looks down at the sidewalk below and spots a mass crowd gathering around. She looks up at the big LED screen that they are looking at. On it shows the live footage of the ocean. Do I wish it was me? I don't know. Although, it does feel weird not being the one to do it. Four destroyers of the JSDF's 52nd Attack Squadron near Hono, Dawa, and Mitsuya are sailing 20 miles off Kagoshima. They are being accompanied by 5 OH-1 attack helicopters, each carrying a payload of 4 live depth charges and equipped with spotter lights. A news chopper is also there to show the Japanese audience of what is happening. The ship's sailors and crews, who are in their battle stations, waits for the kaiju to be detected. Captains Ayono Sakamoto of the Hono, Yasushi Mita of the Mitsuya, and Jiro Fuji of the Dawa stares out into the ocean. Rear Admiral Shiro Izumi of the Near leads this group into battle. Suddenly, a blip appears on their radar and sonar. Target located, bearing starboard bow. What's the speed? 20 knots. 20 knots. Depth is at 40 meters below sea level. Rear Admiral, your go. Right. Open up comms. The comms opens to all 4 ships and helicopters. Target has been spotted. Beginning operation now. Roger that. Commencing operation now. The ship breaks into groups of 2. The Near and Mitsuya veers to port, while Hono and Dawa veers to starboard. Their torpedo tubes aims at the target. The Hono and Mitsuya in front fires 2 Type 89 torpedoes into the water. 15 seconds goes by. Then, the torpedoes hits their target and the water explodes. The OH-1s drops their depth charges at the area where the torpedoes hit. Like geysers, the water explodes upwards to 20 meters above sea level. After a few moments, the water becomes calm once more. Multiple direct hits, but take caution. 5 degrees to starboard. Aye aye, 5 degrees to starboard. He turns the ship wheel right, and the Near turns with the Mitsuya. All ships be advised, we're still picking up activity. Proceed with caution. Roger. Begin scanning the target. The 4 attack helicopters hovers over the water at 30 meters. The destroyers turns on their spotlights in between them. 100 meters above, the news helicopter hovers over the ships and attack aircraft. The cameraman opens the door and points the camera at the helicopters hovering in a circle. From their homes and outside, everyone in Japan and Academy City believes that Godzilla's short reign of terror has come to an end. But Misuga begins to think back to the conversation between herself and McIntyre. Does the book say everything about him? Yes. Including the regeneration factor? In great detail. A realization dawns on her. Wait, how fast can he regenerate? She stares back at the LED on the building. Back at the location, the water suddenly explodes. It clears, revealing a long, thin black tail. It swings, hitting and taking out 2 OH-1 helicopters. 4 pilots die instantly. It shocks everyone watching. Evade, evade, evade! As those words leaves his mouth, the tail hits its OH-1. They and the other helicopters gets hit. All 10 pilots are dead. The tail goes back underwater. What the hell? That's not supposed to happen. Hard turn the port. Main cannon ready. The seaman turns the wheel hard to left, and the Near and Mitsuya turns the port with their main 8-inch guns aiming to the port bow. At the same time, the Hono and Dawa turns to starboard. Do you have them on sonar? I'm not getting anything, sir. What? The captains of both Hono and Mitsuya looks at the previous spot the tail came out of. Can you find them on radar? No, Captain. What? It's a giant kaiju! Try again! I'm not seeing anything. He just disappeared. What? Pass me that radio. He hands the speaker to the captain. Captain Mita, Captain Fuji, can you detect the target? We're not getting anything. We're not having much luck too. We can't even detect them on the Geiger counter. What the hell is going on? Should we abort? No, we have to stay put and... A rumble interrupts his order. The water bursts underneath the destroyer Mitsuya. The entire ship lifts out of the water. The other ship shines their spotlights onto the vessel, only to find the head of Godzilla launching himself out of the water like a great white shark, catching the ship with its mouth. He grabs it with his hands and drags it under, disappearing from sight. Watching it from the homes and cities, the people are stunned. Misuga even more so. Watching it from the ships, the crews become stunned. A flash of light quickly appears and goes away within a fraction of a second. Suddenly, the area where the Mitsuya was explodes, sending a geyser 100 meters up into the air. Some of the water splashes into the Near starboard and midships and bow, getting some of the crew and sailors wet. Okay, change the plan. All ships abandon the operation and head for shore, quickly! The Near, Hono, and Dawa turns 180 degrees and heads north for Kagoshima Bay at max 30 knots. The news helicopter follows the 3, but the cameraman aims the camera behind them. Godzilla's sharp, jagged dorsal fins appears as the kaiju himself swings at 60 knots like a crocodile towards the retreating destroyers. Oh God, get out of there, get out of there, get out of there! The crews on the ship's stern looks and sees Godzilla approaching them. The engines of the destroyers, unfortunately, cannot be pushed to their limit. Rear Admiral Izumi, in the bridge of the Near, clenches his seat as hard as he can. The possibility of his ship and sailors going down is very high. Godzilla lifts his tail from the water and splashes it back down. Suddenly, he descends underwater as he gets within 100 yards of the Dawa. The cameraman in the news chopper looks around to find him. Nothing. He aims the cameras back at the retreating destroyers. A blue light appears underneath the 3, glowing brighter and brighter. Watching it unfold on the LED screen on the building, Misuga knows what is about to happen. Oh no. Blue fire shoots out from the water underneath the Dawa's amidships. The ship slows down slightly as the fire turns to the news helicopter. The pilots and crew screams before the flames hits them as well. The fire disappears. Dawa, what happened? What was... The destroyer Dawa suddenly explodes from amidships to bow and stern after 2 seconds of the blue fire touching the steel. The news helicopter also explodes within that time frame, cutting off the feed to the live news station it was representing. The shockwave of the exploding ship rocks the 2 remaining destroyers, Near and Hono, launching their stern out of the water. I need a damage report! The port and starboard stern are heavily damaged. We're taking on water. Get the damage control team to that sector. Hono, what's your status? We're still alive. Our stern is in critical condition. What happened to the Dawa? The Dawa is gone. And So is the Mitsuya. Where's Godzilla? Where's Godzilla? Our Geigers say that he's heading northeast. Should we pursue? No. Head for the dry dock for repairs. Holy shit. Holy shit. The rear admiral sits back down in the captain's seat and leans back in it. This is much worse than we thought. The audience on the Japanese home islands are completely stunned, concerned, and terrified all at once. In Academy City, many of the students and scientists are having the same reaction. It is no different from Makoto Misaka as her wide-eyed face from the screen on the building and thinks very hard to herself. What the hell are we supposed to do now?